I had 3 proposals since that time. Brother Dan, all of them made me mad. Because if I wanted to get married, Pastor messed that up real bad. When we was on Frankfurt Avenue, this man would come in.
Welcome everyone. We'd like to welcome you again to another edition of the Truth of God Insider. As you know, I'm Brother Dan Thompson, the Media Director of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ. As you know, the Truth of God Insider is designed to take you behind the scenes of what's happening here at the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, and at times introduce you to other members that you may not be familiar with. Today, we do have a very special guest, a very, very special guest, and I'm very honored to have her here. And it's none other than the mother of Pastor Jennings himself, Mother Josephine Jennings. And we're going to have a short conversation with her. Greetings, Mother Jennings.
Greetings.
I am so very, very happy that you're able to join us today on the Truth of God Insider. We want you to relax. We're just going to have a nice conversation with you about some of the history from your perspective of what's happened with the First Church, all right?
All right.
All right. Wonderful. Tell us some more about Bishop Jennings, who is now deceased for how many years? Do you remember?
Well, he's been dead for 39 years, 39 years April.
30 years?
So yeah, all those years.
39 years.
Yeah, so we got married when we was like 19.
So Mother Jennings, you're 90 years old right now. This year, I think you celebrated your 90th birthday.
I'm 90 years old now.
And I believe Bishop Jennings has been deceased now for, I think, 30 years. So this is somewhat of an anniversary for you. Your own age, 90, and him being gone 30 years.
Yes. I had 3 proposals since that time. Brother Dan, all of them made me mad. Because if I wanted to get married, Pastor messed that up real bad. When we was on Frankfurt Avenue, this man would come in to our office and they would say, Mother Jennings, the girls in New Jersey, they would say, here comes someone, put a little tip in his mouth, and he would come in. But Pastor preached that morning. He says, it's no use of nobody looking at my mother because she's in love with a dead man. He got up, walked to the back, went out, and we ain't seen him since. I remember him.
Quite a show, huh?
Oh, I tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well,
I said, you messed that up because he said, you know you ain't thinking about it. Well, I said, I sure ain't. 3 proposals. And one just kept right on looking. She would never have to work. And the woman that married me would never have to work. I'm not a lazy person. I wanted to work. When I kept bringing food upstairs to Bishop Jennings, and he was working 3 jobs, plus cutting hair at the barber shop, charcoal steakhouse, worked at Cook Junior High School here in Philly. And the last time I brought food up, the whole platter went. I said, guess what? He said, what is it, Joe? I said, I'm gonna get a job and go to work whether you want me to or not. And I'm glad I did.
Wonderful,
because those 2 jobs gave me beautiful retirement. And just let me enjoy Jesus.
Wonderful.
I'm enjoying the Lord.
Wonderful.
I'm enjoying the Lord.
Wonderful.
And all I want now is for First Church. I found the book that I wrote, and it's being published.
Wonderful.
And
wonderful.
All of the proceeds will be for First Church.
Wonderful.
We're living in the end time for as I'm concerned. And I'm just so happy about the work of the Lord.
Wonderful.
Until Pastor preached about my silver fox.
He talked about that somewhat.
Yeah, he talked about that I was listening at it again on the YouTube and I gave it to Ann because that was her gift, she and her husband, to me.
At the time,
And that $1,000 of gold in my mouth, I had to take that out, and it was $800 to have it taken out. So I said, now I got 60. So I thank the Lord, how the Lord is blessing me in a marvelous way, and that I have all my children except the baby, and ever so many extended. Those like Sister Palin, I raised her. Sister Hannah, I raised her. I thank God for them because they have stuck by me like glue. And Sister Palin, when I met her, and Nicole, her daughter was 4 years old, and she was 7 years old. Her son was 7 years old, and I met her then at Sears Roebuck, because she was looking at me, and I watched her. She talked so much. I said, who is that girl that talk all the time? When we clocking out, we used to have to clock out. They call her Gabby. Every now and then I'll call her Gabby. But the Lord has blessed her mightily. She is a good finance secretary for us. So the Lord blessed him mightily. And after he worked so and went to school all dressed up one day, I asked him, I said, look, Bishop, why are you all dressed up? I'll let you know when I come back. But what had happened, he was at Cook High School, and he was on the, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, this young guy had called him a name, and Bishop Jennings slapped him. So they had to go to court. So the father to the son that did that called him the name, he told him, says, well, you know what? I can appreciate you being a man, because if your son had called me a name like my son called you, he said, I'd have slapped your son too. So the judge dismissed the case. So he came back all sharp as a tack and let me know what had happened. I said, what? He said, yeah, I slapped him. Because that's the way, if you fought Bishop Jennings today, you're gonna have to fight tomorrow or the next day. He was one of the kind that would fight, but he was the best thing that I ever met in the human life.
Yes, I actually had a chance to meet Bishop Jennings.
Yes.
Yeah. He was such a clean man, very, very clean.
Very clean cut man, that man.
These are some of the insider stories or detailed stories of Pastor Gino Jennings that you don't get to hear, regardless of how the presentation of his gospel may be. And these types of stories depict that the man has been on the business of God since day one up till now, and that he is not a minister who ministers water and then goes behind the pulpit to drink water. If he ministers water, he drinks water because he believes what he ministers. And we know that Pastor Gino Jennings' kind of gospel presentation, it is more of God's base agenda, what really God believes in and what really God disproves. And so because of this, most of the people that had the privilege living with Pastor Gino Jennings, either as a father, either as a mother, auntie, brothers, sisters, nephews and nieces, all of these people have had their own say about living to the standard of the gospel or living to the standard of what Christianity is. And so the man is not a noise maker on the altar, but truly has a heart for God, and that his message and presentation of message has always been something he believes in, and he himself has been living it. to impact life, and any other person that is very dear or close to him who has ever had a very close range kind of relationship with him has ever felt what the mother is testifying about the son. And so it is a beautiful story, very, very inspiring to hear the mom that she did had intentions wanting to be married again on the second time, since the husband, who is or was Bishop Jennings, passed on. But because of Pastor Gino Jennings, the mother couldn't get married again. And as she stated clearly in the video, that she had opportunities and even possible suitors who could have made a good stepfather to Pastor Gino Jennings and brothers and sisters. And the brothers and sisters, the opportunity was denied because Pastor Gino Jennings messed up every other thing that has to do with her intentions of wanting to get the opportunity to be a wife to another man. And so it is clear again that the things Pastor Gino Jennings ministers is not so that he is chasing clout, it's not so that he is looking for a name, it's not so that he is looking for audience or wants to be seen as the most holiest than thou minister, but it has been about the businesses of God and wanting to rescue souls that are headed towards Hades. And so it is clear that he is not just shouting on the altar as people would see him to be. It has been something he was called for and something he has responded and has been faithful to. And so if you study carefully people that are very close to him and even the ministers with which he had come far with, it is clear that he has been living exactly the things he has been preaching. And definitely many other people would have different opinion contrary to that of Pastor Gino Jennings. It is clear that in these days we have mega ministers, pastors who are at the mainstream voices, yet would minister gospels that are totally compromised, gospels that are totally or highly diluted because of their self-preservation friendships and self-preservations with people that are totally rich or people that somehow they benefit of. And so usually it is going to be about things they would have to compromise, or things they would have to preach in a way that is not supposed to be. And so we have many bishops, pastors that continuously ministers gospels in a way that is unacceptable. And so if you study the lifestyle of Pastor Gino Jennings and how he often goes about these kinds of ministers or go after them, many people would conceive the idea that it is with hate he is doing such things. But that has never been the agenda. The agenda is rescuing the souls that are headed to Hades. The agenda is letting people know the stance of God over issues and matters that these many ministers have compromised. And so when you become a voice that continuously brings order to where there is disorder, when you continuously ministers holiness to where there is no holiness, you contend earnestly with the other kingdom. And because of that, you are going to be heated by homage. Even Jesus made it clear that as the world heated him, so shall his followers be heated. And regardless of how good you are and how that you try even to live peaceful with people, it just can't be because of the gospel. And so Pastor Gino Jennings' kind of stories such as this is a story indicating to us that he has been on the businesses of God since day one, even until now. And it has never been that on the pulpit he ministers wine and on behind of the pulpit he drinks water. If he ministers wine, it means that he believes in the message of wine. If he ministers water on the pulpit, it means he drinks water and he believes in the message of water. And so these are types of messages that goes around to teach you more, that even if as you are called as a pastor, as a Christian, or wherever you find yourself, usually the impact begins exactly within wherever you find yourself. And so that is the message for today. And so we thank God for people that has been a blessing to the lifestyle of Pastor Gino Jennings, including the mom, the siblings, the brothers and sisters, the nephews, the uncles, and so on. Again, also, we ask God favor for each and everyone who has been following the ministry of Pastor Gino Jennings and the Pastor Gino Jennings himself. The Lord bless you all. See you again in our next episode.